What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are returning to the manga Hathaway's Flash. Last time Hathaway left the hotel and met up with Mahesia. He watched as the Manhunters slaughtered people casually in the streets, and Galin was captured by Kenneth's new Circe team. This time Hathaway gets into his new Gundam. He fights against Lane Aim and Penelope, and Kenneth swings out with Gigi. So let's get into this. Davao Air Force Base. Hathaway is finally able to leave. He gets a car into town so he could finally catch a ferry. Hathaway's paranoia is getting the better of him, as he still doesn't know if he could trust Gigi. He is dropped off at the port and heads to the terminal to make it look like he is buying a ticket before putting his luggage into a locker and walking around the city. In the manga, like the novel, he wanders around town not understanding what this Nejin is, and not really knowing what to do. In the movie, they just turn this into a very atmospheric montage. This is when he gets some quest PTSD. He's on a beach when a boy comes up to him and says that he knows Nejin and to hop on the boat, for a $10 fee of course. Again, unlike the movie, we get the subtle interaction between this kid and Hathaway that really drives home the wealth disparity on Earth. He says that a girl came and told him to take Hathaway to a certain location. Hathaway doesn't like the water. He thinks of the new Gundam. They're cutting it close on timing. Ikasaria does a low flyby, causing Hathaway to fall out of the boat. The kid says that Mafty should just handle everything. The Earth needs to return to its natural state. Hathaway reminds the kid that Mafty wants all humans off planet. That part he doesn't agree with. But one thing's for sure, the people who come down to Earth don't even hide the fact that they look down on Earthnoid natives. Hathaway says, "You must really hate me for my privilege." The kid tells Hathaway it's best not to ask certain questions. It's okay for two people to remain ignorant of what they don't know. Many of you could learn a thing or two from Tamino's writing. Too bad this was cut down in the movie. That is when they meet with Emeralda and Kenji. He and Kenji switch places. Hathaway wants to know the kid's name, but realizes it's better that he doesn't know. We get the moment in the book where Emeralda teases Hathaway about Gigi, but Hathaway tells them all that Gigi knows he is Mafty. Also on the boat is Raymond Kane and Iram Massam. Raymond thinks that this means they might be walking into a trap by allowing Hathaway to return to Mafty. But Hathaway reminds everyone that this boner has never led him astray. They don't like this answer. Hathaway is going full trust me bro. They have to worry about Galin, but for now, they need to focus on the Gundam. They are currently prepping the Galsazan booster bed. Once you attach a booster to a subflight system, it's no longer subflight, it's just flight. Hathaway pulls out his tooth and gives Iram the data chip. They are certain that the fake Mafty hijackers were a part of the Owen Belly forces. Kenneth's forces seem to be dealing with them, which helps Mafty's situation, but Owen Belly is 20,000 strong, whereas Mafty is less than 2k. Quacksalver seems to have nothing to do with Owen Belly. They are a little jealous of their numbers. Federation cabinet members are gathering at Adelaide to vote to bring down Mafty forces. Emeralda wonders if the Penelope pilot is a cyber-new type. Hathaway thinks Penelope may even exceed the new Gundam. They then get on a plane where they fly through the South Pacific, making it to their base of operations, Lodoichia. Back at the Air Force Base, Kenneth is briefing his team and being a leader, but in his mind he is just thinking about Gigi. He goes to meet with her for lunch once again and has arranged a cabinet for her to stay in. But Gigi could see what Kenneth is up to. He knows that Gigi got a ticket on the Houndsend because of her ties with Cardias Bounden Wooden, head of a major insurance company. She is more or less his mistress. Gigi says, "You must be so embarrassed." She mentions her new home in Hong Kong that the Count bought her. In the novel, Tomino writes that Kenneth feels defeated in this moment. He investigated Bounden Wooden and knows that he is a Count, but it isn't public knowledge. Her knowing he is a Count means she is invested. Kenneth insists that she stay until she leaves for Hong Kong, as many see her as good luck. The Houndsend and the capturing of a Mafty soldier proves that she is lucky. She wonders if that is why Hathaway is avoiding her. This triggers Kenneth's suspicion about her. She says she isn't in the military and his father isn't the same person as him. Ultimately, she doesn't say anything about Hathaway being Mafty. However, this motivates him to get back to work hunting down the terrorists. Gigi is getting off at the two fighting one another, and decides that she will stay for a little bit. Meanwhile, Mafty welcomes Hathaway back to Lodoichia. In low Earth orbit, the Anaheim Electronics container begins its descent into the atmosphere. They look at the booster and make sure adjustments are ready. Their ship, the Valiant, is heading to the splashdown spot. Maximilian Nikolai tells him that they were able to disguise the cargo as debris falling, so the space surveillance network won't catch on to them. But waiting for it to drop down is going to take too long. They have to dock in air. They also have to get Galin before they deal with the Kimberly forces. Hathaway tells Iram not to underestimate Kenneth. He recognizes him as an excellent commander. As Hathaway preps for battle, Golf and his team head out to handle a sub in the area. Mahesia cut a cold trying to lose the Manhunters. If Davao is intercepting them, they have 40 minutes. If it is Owenbelly, they have 2 hours. Even if they come under attack, they have to hold their position until they get the new Gundam. 12 hours earlier, Kenneth is getting on the backs of the local police to ensure he sees the reporting on all movements in the ocean. He says that the police aren't going to cooperate, then he will bomb the police stations. The police say that he needs some sense of decorum if he wants help from the local police. Kenneth decides to send in the Gundam. They head out swiftly and bomb a manhunter's van and intimidate the police chief. They start cooperating with the Feddies. The conversation is in the novel, but I don't think the bombing is. But I like this manga version of Kenneth who fights back against the manhunters. Kenneth makes kawaii uwu face. Okay, I take back what I just said about Kenneth. He then interrogates Galman. Galman says that Hathaway is Mafty. He asks who is controlling him. He then says Quacksalver. Kenneth punches him, thinking that he is being sarcastic even though that is his very fake name. The sarcasm leads him to not trust Galman, even though he just gave away Mafty. I like the head slam of the movie more, as Kenneth gets more intel on the sub. Galman body slams Kenneth. He then proceeds to pick up a chair. Look how happy Kenneth is knowing that he is about to take a chair to Galman's skull. Galman wakes up and realizes he is in a mobile suit. It is Lane AIM and Penelope Gundam. Golf's team takes down the Fetty sub, but EFF is onto them. They have to rendezvous with the Valiant after the operation. They prep for launch. The city of Davao is doused in Minovsky particles. Sucks for Bob, who will never know the location of where to meet his friend for drinks tonight. The Fetties scramble their mobile suits. Kenneth wonders if it is a rescue mission for Galman or a distraction. The falling space debris is getting in their way. Hathaway and Emeralda are launching together. She is nervous. Hathaway mentions this new Gundam, and Penelope have conquered the skies with new innovation. Remember, the Minovsky craft system uses physics and does not use thrust to float in the air. It uses eye fields to create an invisible pillow between the craft and the ground. Lane goes to investigate some lights in the sky. His team tailing him calls him an idiot for going off script and continue following him. The booster Galsasan launches. There are hostiles in the area. Raymond and his Messer team are the ones to defend the booster. Hathaway releases the booster and intercepts the capsule. Emeralda guides Hathaway to the capsule with her Messer, but she crash lands. He enters the capsule and gets into the mobile suit. Meanwhile, Penelope spots the capsule and takes aim, but out pops Kassi Gundam. Is it Kasai or Kassi? Can someone from Greece put down the souvlaki and tell me how to pronounce this? The RX-105 Kassi Gundam manga version draws more inspiration from the game design and has a more traditional Gundam face. This is to remind you that it comes from a long line of Gundam, and to a certain extent, this is the end of the line in terms of Project Zeta. This was commissioned by Hathaway and has a new compact Minovsky craft system. This new version has the Mafty logo on the shield. The Gundam flies out of the shuttle before it burns up in the atmosphere. Lane AIM realizes that the enemy also has a Minovsky craft system. Galman calls him an amateur and tells him how to pilot the mobile suit. Hathaway says that he is Mafty and for EFF to disengage. One Gustav Karl rushes and the Gundam takes it out with ease. He hears Galman on the comms and realizes that he is inside Penelope. Hathaway tells Lane that he is a coward for hiding behind prisoners of war. This gets to Lane. He only brought him on command of Kenneth. He doesn't need him to take down the Gundam. Lane flies 200 meters above and kicks Galman out of the mobile suit. Hathaway is able to catch him. Galman better hold on to something. In the novel, I believe Hathaway says something along the lines of good luck surviving with no seatbelt. Dude's about to take a lot of G's. Because of this, he has to finish the battle in one move. He fires a missile funnel barrage. Lane is able to dodge them, not realizing that he is distracted by the explosion of the beam rifle. Kassi Gundam comes out of the seas and fires another barrage. He is able to get a hit on Penelope, who falls into the sea. More are coming. Mafty has to get out of there. Lane was defeated by the Gundam. His systems are shot. The pilot is rescued by a Casaria. Mafty meets up with the Valiant. Hathaway tells him that he used the beam rifle as a distraction. They're heading out to scout Owenbelly. He meets with Kalaya, who joins up with them. She asks about this Gigi girl. She knows that she makes him think of quests. Kalaya knows him all too well. Meanwhile, once again, Kenneth proclaims that Gigi is the goddess of luck, as Lane didn't die in the last battle. She is heading to Hong Kong. As she bids farewell, she lets Kenneth know that she is not too obsessed with the living. And that will do it for this episode. Not too much plays out differently in this final act of the first arc. Julia Suga didn't make an appearance like she did in the anime or novel. One thing the manga does a little better is remind you that Hathaway does indeed have Gigi on his mind constantly. We have caught up in this manga. You would think that they would be releasing more now that the second movie is released, but who knows? But we do know where this story goes. Next time, Mafty meets with the Owenbelly forces. They speak to Commander Kimberly, who is taken prisoner, and Mafty and Owenbelly work together. Also, Gigi gets slapped. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, don't bet battle tactics and the lives of your men on a pretty lady you think is good luck. Peace.